Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be picking my May TBR. Per usual, I will be picking out 8 books for my TBR using my 2 dice and my little board game that I made. So we have our board game, we have our dice. Let's go ahead and roll for our first prompt. 3 and 3. I think we got that one last time, didn't we? I feel like we get 3 and 3 like a lot. 3 and 3. We don't get 3 and 3 a lot. It's author duo. But we did get that one a couple of times ago, right? Off the top of my head, the main books that I can think of that have an author duo is the Zodiac Academy books. I've read the first 5, I believe, and I'm just struggling to find the motivation to pick up the rest. I genuinely do not like the direction that the later ones start taking. And so I'm just over here I don't need the emotional damage right now. I think I'm okay. So let me see what other author duo books I even possibly have, if I have anything else, because I can't really think of any other author duos. So as I suspected, our number 1 candidate for this is going to be Fated Throne, which is the 6th Zodiac Academy book. I have another option that might work, but I've been saving this one for the fall because I feel like this one gives like a dark academia vibe. So I've been wanting to save Cuxtal Academy, the beginning, for the fall, but this one does have an author duo. So in theory, this one would also work, but I think I'm going to wait on this one, and we're going to pick up another Zodiac Academy book, which I'm not really looking forward to, but I do want to finish another series, and it would be kind of nice to finish that one since I think we're coming up on my second year of kind of being in the thick of that series and just being so unmotivated to pick it up. I mean, worst case scenario, I get this next book on Kindle Unlimited and just DNF it. That's literally the worst that could happen. So I guess Fated Throne is the first book that we're adding to our May TBR. Now it's time for our second roll. 5 and 1. 5 and 1. Yellow on the cover. We have not gotten yellow on the cover, I believe. And if we have, it has not been recent at all. So let me look at the shelves, see what yellow cover. I think we're going to want to do something light, springy, easy, probably a standalone if at all possible, to kind of keep things easy breezy, beautiful cover girl, because I have a feeling that Fated Throne is going to put me through the ringer. So it might be a nice opportunity to get a yellow book on the cover that's easy and won't kill me. So finding a yellow book is so much harder than I thought it was going to be. Just yellow on the cover felt impossible. All of the books that I thought had yellow covers or yellow on the cover, they are orange. They have orange on the cover. So I'm just fully remembering covers completely wrong, apparently. Or the other thing I ran into is that they were second or third in the series, and I'm just not wanting to do that right now. Like I said, I want something light, easy. I literally narrowed it down to standalones only, because I knew for a fact I'm not picking up a big series if I have a Zodiac Academy book on the TBR. That's just setting the tone. We're not doing another big series in the TBR. So our 2 options that I narrowed it down to are Weather Girl. This one is by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Yes. And I don't really know a ton about this. I know that it is a workplace romance, and she's the weather girl, and he is, I believe, the sports reporter, I think. Yes, interesting. So this one is a contender. This one's an option. It sounds really cute. Sounds really fun. I just don't know if it's going to be my vibe. I'm not sure. I'm kind of iffy. It was a very impulse buy, so we'll see. Our other option has less yellow on the cover, so I'm not really leaning towards it quite as much, but it is something I know I'm going to love, and that is Double Apex. This one is an F1 romance, so I know I'm going to have a good time with this. The yellow on the cover is quite literally the title. That's the only yellow on this cover. And the little blurb. So, not a ton of yellow going on, but it counts. I say yellow on the cover. It doesn't have to be a ton of yellow, and I was right about it being yellow. So I'm counting it as an option, but all things considered, I should go with Weather Girl. I've also owned this one the longest. I'm pretty sure I bought this during Seattle's independent bookstore week 2 years ago. So I think it's time. I think I should pick up Weather Girl. So we're going to add this to the TBR. Time for our third prompt. And we rolled 6 and 1. 6 and 1. That is a cartoon cover. So another chance for us to have a light, happy, cutesy romance. I do think I know which one I want for this, and it's not at all like a light, cute, happy romance, but it's not like heavy and dark. And I mean, it has a cartoon cover, you know? So it's not going to be Zodiac Academy, but it's not as happy go lucky cutesy as what I had originally said I was hoping to get for the rest of the TBR. But I will look at the shelves, see what else there is as an option for cartoon cover. I picked up the book that I originally was thinking of when we got the prompt cartoon cover, and then I picked up another book that I think could be a good contender, and then I picked something that's kind of like a middle ground, like not quite as heavy as the first option, but also not quite as light, fun, frilly as the other option. So I will start with the first book that I immediately thought of when we got the prompt cartoon cover, and that is Thrown in the Dark. I have had this one for a couple of months now. I think I've had it for like 6-ish months. I got it at Beguiled's grand opening when they opened their brick and mortar store, and I mainly got it because of the sprayed edges, and I thought they were pretty. And I've heard this one is a super good like Grumpy Sunshine because she's super cute, bubbly, blonde, and he's just like dark, brooding, like villain energy. And so I thought this one would be a good pick for cartoon cover because it is a cartoon cover, and I have been wanting to read it for a while. I believe the sequel is coming out or has already come out, and I'm just behind. So it would be kind of nice to get this one going, and so that way I can pick up the sequel when and if it is available. The other one that I picked up that I was thinking, okay, this one's a cartoon cover, this fits the prompt, and it also is like the light casual vibe I'm kind of going for, is Academically Yours. This one's by Jennifer Chipman, and I picked this one up at Half Price Books not that long ago, and I know that it is a like academic setting, obviously Academically Yours, and I believe it's like a like student teacher and professor at college. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. So he's a grumpy professor. She's going to grad school in Portland. So it's set kind of locally. And it's also kind of a skinny legend. Like, I like that this one's really short. This one's pretty chunky. So, yeah. I like the idea of this one being just shorter. But I'm not 100% sold on the idea of grad student professor. I mean, I loved it in Love Hypothesis, but that was also Allie Hazelwood. So I'm not 100% sure how I'd like it in another book. So the last book that I picked to kind of like be like a middle ground is not only like a little bit longer than Academically Yours, but it also includes a little bit of that like fantasy romantasy element, and that is The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson. This is, I believe, one of two werewolf books that she has. I don't know if she's planning on doing more, but I know that there's another one that kind of like follows this kind of like werewolf thing that she has going on. And this one we are following two doctors who I believe fake date to get their families and like their pack like off of their back about finding a mate. So I thought this would be fun. I love fake dating. I always have such a good time with fake dating. So I thought this one would be really good. But all things considered, I do think I'm going to trust my gut instinct and go with the first book that I thought of when I got this prompt. Just because I have been wanting to read this forever. I do think it's going to be super fun and cute. Even if it is a bit chunkier, a bit longer, I think that I'll be okay having something like this big because Weather Girl's not that big. I think it's like a little over 300 pages. And I usually do fly through the Zodiac Academy books. Even though they are big, I usually get through them really quick. So I'm hoping that this one is not like dragging me down and doesn't like slow me down. But I think that this one is a good pick. So we're going to go with it. Let's go ahead and roll for our fourth prompt. Okay. 5 and 4. Book baddies choose. Okay, we'll see who replies quickly because I actually don't know if any of my friends are doing anything right now. It's literally 9 in the morning. I will send out that text and we'll see. Cecilia always replies really fast. So it's probably going to be my friend Cecilia. Okay, I just sent a text. I said, someone help me add a book to my May TBR. So we'll see. I will just leave that open and we will go ahead and roll for our next prompt and then check this one as the text roll in. So rolling for, I guess this is prompt 1, 2, 3, 4. This is prompt 5. 4 and 5. Okay, that's just the inverse of the last one we got. 4, 5, romance. Okay, we like that. That's good. So let me see what romance I'm thinking. I kind of want to keep up with like a series for this one just because like I'm in the middle of so many romance series right now. So we'll see what romance series I kind of have to pick from. I've picked out a couple of romances that I think it would be good to add to the TBR. So we'll see. My first pick was the next book in the Dirty Air series. So this one is the third one. I've read the first two. I read the first two a while ago. So we shall see how I feel about the third one. I'm not sure if I'm still like into this series, if I'm being honest. I feel like the main characters just felt really young when I was reading it like a couple of years ago, and now I'm kind of like, okay, I've grown up. I hope that they are adults. But I do think this one deals with like slightly heavier topics. I know the first one, I didn't like that the MMC had like daddy issues and he was like 35 and was like blaming his dad for all these things in his life. And then I know the second one was like a friends to lovers kind of situation where they're trying to keep their relationship a secret. This one, we are focusing on the teammate of one of the past MCs, and he is struggling with like substance abuse issues and rehabilitating his image as an F1 driver. And this is the relationship between him and I believe the like PR manager, which I really liked that concept in Cross the Line when I read that one by Simone Saltani. I really enjoyed that one. So this one might be a good pick. The next book that I picked up as a possible romance to add to the TBR is Stealing Home. This one is the third book in, what is this series even called? I actually don't know the name of the series. Is it? It's a series. Okay, yeah, I don't know the name of the series, but the first two books are First Down and Breakaway. So we are following brothers who are college athletes and kind of how their like relationships are going. So the first book was football and we're following the oldest brother. The second book was hockey and we were following the like middle brother. So this one we are following, I guess he's not really their brother. He's like their like really close family friend who like his parents I believe passed away or something, but he's really into baseball, so his family has kind of like unofficially adopted him and he is playing baseball. So I really enjoyed him in the first couple of books, even though we don't get like a ton of interactions with him. I did still think he was a pretty fun character and I really liked the beginning of the series so far. It is college age like sports romance though, so a part of me is also kind of like that probably is going to skew pretty young, whereas like the Dirty Air series, they're like all like over the age of like 25. So like I'm not expecting it to feel young. This one I'm expecting to feel pretty young. And then my last option is actually the start of a new series. I finished Chestnut Springs last year, I believe. And I really wanted to pick up another Elsie Silver book. I don't have any of her series that I'm currently reading. But I do own all of the Rose Hill series, so I figured I might go ahead and start it. These are a little bit chunkier. Like this is a pretty beefy book, but I do know that I blow through her books very quickly. I can probably read one of her books in like 2 days. So this one is also another contender, but it would be starting a new series, which I'm not super stoked about since I'm already starting another new series on this TBR. So I think our main contenders are these two. A part of me wishes that I could say like, oh, I finished caught up and so I know that I'm not in the mood for a baseball romance, but I haven't even started caught up. I'm filming this on the 25th. So yeah, currently have a couple books left on the April TBR to tackle. So I'm not sure how I feel about baseball romances, but I know I haven't read an F1 romance in a second. I don't think I had any F1 on the last 2 months TBRs. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do Wrecked and try to finish the Dirty Air series. The group chat has finally responded, and the book that Christina suggested is Wolf King. So that one is on Kindle Unlimited. I don't have a physical copy, but I am super excited to pick that one up. I've seen it like talked about and I've seen people kind of hyping it up, but I actually don't really know anything about it. So I will add that one to the TBR as well. And that means we have two like Kindle Unlimited picks, which I'm kind of excited about because I really like reading on my Kindle. Let's go ahead and pick the dice up to roll for our sixth prompt. I genuinely can't decide if this TBR is going by way too fast or if I'm just like not picking good books. 2 and 2. Okay, so this one is good slash fun title, which I love getting, but I also kind of hate getting. I feel like I kind of struggle with picking what is like a fun or good title, but I know that I really enjoy titles that are kind of like punny and like witty. So I think that that would be a good place to start. So I will go ahead and have a look through my shelves, see what books I can find that have good and funny titles. I'll probably be pulling the same ones that I pulled the last time I got this prompt because I can't really imagine too many other like new releases having really good titles. So we shall see what I come up with. Be right back. Okay, so I did not have as many options as I kind of expected to have. I realized that a couple of the ones that I had been picking for this prompt before, like I've read, just like for other things. The two that I have are, I think one is a sequel to one of the books I picked for this prompt, and then the other one is just random that I like the title of, but I also kind of wanted a mystery thriller in the list. So, first option is Tea with the Altar. I know that A Pirate's Life for Tea is the second book in this series, and Can't Spell Treason Without Tea is the first book. So I think I've picked those for like fun, good titles. And I do really enjoy the like punniness of these titles since the girls own a tea shop in this. So this is the third book in that series. Kind of crazy thing I'm already on the third book, but I'm really enjoying this world. I think it's super cute. So this is our first option. Our second option, like I said, is not necessarily like the greatest, wittiest, funniest title, but I do like the title, and we don't have any mystery thrillers like at all. So the next option is The Serial Killer's Guide to San Francisco. This one I picked up, I believe, about a year ago now when I was in Colorado. So it would be kind of nice to get this one on the TBR since I have had it a little while longer. And I'm also realizing as I'm like waving it around, I didn't even realize the letters are yellow. I genuinely thought the letters on this one are all white, pink, and like this teal kind of color. So now that I'm like waving it around, I'm like, oh, I could have picked this one for my like yellow on the cover book as well. But I think between these two, and given the TBR I currently have, I'm gonna go with Serial Killer's Guide to San Francisco. Time to roll for prompt number 7. 4 and 6. 4, 6. Booktube recommendation. Okay, let me look at the shelves, see what booktube recommendation I can come up with. So, immediately after getting the prompt, I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I think I'm running out of booktube recommendations because, as much as I feel bad saying it, I do not watch booktube as much as I did when I started making booktube content. Like, I don't know if that sounds mean, if that sounds negative, but as much as I loved watching booktube content before, I felt like the people I was watching a lot of like 2 years ago when I was inspired to start doing booktube, they started reading things that weren't what I was reading, but I didn't have interest in it. Whereas like I found other creators that are reading stuff that I don't read that I'm interested in reading, but like just like actively don't. And so it's kind of like a way for me to like live through other people. And that got me to the side of YouTube that I kind of watch more of now, where I watch people who like review restaurants I've never been to or like try like frozen foods I've never heard of and like do like reviews of businesses. I'm not a business person. So like why do I care about why Groupon failed? But I watched like a 20-minute video about why Groupon failed. Like I'm just enjoying that more than the book content that like I do because I think that like watching my own stuff back, like I'm spending plenty of time watching booktube, don't worry about it. It just isn't the same way I was reacting to it and interacting with it before. And another thing is I really enjoy watching other countries, like people in like Britain or people in Australia. I think that their like content is like fascinating because they're the way they interact with books is different. Like they have different, not different books, but like different covers. They have different release dates. Sometimes they get a book before us or after us, depending on where the author is located. And I just think that's like super fascinating. But long story short, I really only had one book in mind after looking at my shelves. So we really only have the one option for this, which I know is like anticlimactic. But one of the girls that I've been really enjoying her content down in Australia, I believe her name is Belle Therese. I will go ahead and put her in the description below. But she was reading this book forever ago, and I just randomly found it at my half price books. So I picked it up. I actually think I got it at the same trip that I got Academically Yours, which is kind of hilarious. But this one is Cowgirls Do It Better Redemption, and it's by Lila Dawes. So she's local in Australia. So that's why it's like harder to find this book here in the States, because this girl isn't really publishing for us. Like, we're not her target demographic. This one is basically following, I believe they're sisters, or maybe they're just like all girls in the same small town. But the whole thing is like these girls and their romances in like the cowgirl cowboy space. And the thing that like is interesting about this one is kind of weird, and it says it on the back, so this is not a spoiler, but the MMC in this book actually killed our FMC's mom. And I still don't really understand how that works. I think Belle hated that. I'm pretty sure she hated it. Like, if I remember correctly, we were not a fan of that plot point, like, at all. So we'll see how I feel about it. I don't know. I'm kind of nervous because it's like, if he was like young and maybe he was like biking in the street and his mom or her mom like swerved to avoid hitting him and like she crashed into a tree and died, like that's kind of like, oh, that's really sad. But also, like, the guy didn't kill your mom if he did that. But if he like came to her house with a pew pew to rob them, he killed your mom. Like, there's like a weird gray area of like, you can be responsible for someone's death, but you can also like be the person who killed somebody. I think those are two different things. And I believe in the court of law, they consider those two different things. So we'll see how like intense the he killed her mom thing is in this. Because that is literally like the main thing on the back of the book. So we shall see what I think, if I like it. But this is our book number 7. Okay, looking at the TBR, I have 3 romances, 3 fantasies, and 1 mystery thriller. So we'll see if I can get another mystery thriller on there. I don't know if I'm really in the mood for one, but it would be kind of nice to shake it up. So our dice say 3 and 4. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. A standalone, which is nice because that works perfectly for a mystery thriller. I feel like most romances nowadays are part of a series, whereas mystery thrillers, like, you kind of have to keep them as standalones. So we'll see what I'm kind of working with. I have a couple of options for standalones, all mystery thrillers ish. So our first option is How to Kill Your Best Friend. This one I know very little about, just that it's about a couple of girls who are taking like a girls trip, doing kind of like the weekend away. And then I believe, like, in doing this, one of them disappears. And then her 2 remaining friends start suspecting each other, I think is what happens. I think. It's giving kind of like a beachy read kind of vibes because it is set on like a tropical island. So my other option is also giving kind of beachy vibes, but more of like wealthy white people drama Hamptons beach vibe. And that is Dead of Summer. So this one is by Jessa Maxwell, who I've read 2 of her other books and I absolutely adore her mystery thrillers. They're also super, super short. So like I could probably knock this out in a day. The last option is the least mystery thriller-y, but also like the most like standalone, like this is gonna like wrap things up, and that is Hot Wax by ML Rio. So I contemplated putting this one on yellow on the cover because her name is in yellow on the cover. But I was like, okay, no, like that's like literally nothing. Like it takes up like 1% of the cover. So I decided not to do it, but I do really want to read this like soon. I think I'm really going to enjoy it. So I think this is my sign to do Hot Wax, even though I do think Dead of Summer is going to be a really good book and I'm really excited to read it when I get to it. I think May might be a little too early. It's not going to feel like summer yet. And I'm also just a little bit more interested in Hot Wax as like a story, as like the premise. Let's go ahead and do a super quick rapid fire of all of the books that we've picked for this month's TBR. So starting off with our most recent one, we have Hot Wax by ML Rio. The book that we picked for a booktube recommendation is Redemption by Lila Dawes. The book that we picked for funny title was Serial Killer's Guide to San Francisco. The book that we picked for romance was Wrecked by Lauren Asher. The book that I picked for cartoon cover was Thrown in the Dark. The book that I picked for yellow on the cover was Weather Girl. And then our 2 picks that I will be reading on Kindle Unlimited are for author duo, and for that one we picked the next book in the Zodiac Academy series that I have yet to read. So we'll be reading Fated Throne. And then my group chat picks picked The Wolf King. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and helping me pick this month's TBR. let's go ahead and do the sun emoji for Weather Girl because I think that would be super fun, super cute. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye. Hi, hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. That sounded so weird. Did that sound weird to you? Is that better? Is it staying? Okay, I think 19 takes in. And like the little blurb. The little blurb. I probably should go with Weather Girl. I will start with the first option that I immediately thought of. What is this book called? Her in the Dark. Okay. Cool. Liz says that she's here early and has no Rex. I believe this one is the third one. Yes, I can read. Okay. I finished, what is it? I finished, oh, you okay? You okay? You okay? Shit. 6. Pippa? Pippa! No. It's giving kind of like cat hair. The book that we picked for a romance was Wrecked by Lauren Asher. Okay.